Welcome to the Business Plus Accounting video training series. In this episode, we'll take a look at customer orders, where most companies will spend the majority of their time in the software. Customer orders is where you will go to enter sales, whether you are a point of sale organization selling product at a point of sale, whether you are a service organization providing services and then doing invoices, or virtually any other type of sales or services that you perform. We'll begin by looking at the enter customer orders and point of sale functions, and then we'll take a look at some of the other options that are available in the customer orders menu. When you enter the customer orders menu, you'll see initially that you have your navigation, which allows you to navigate through the invoices that are currently stored on the software, similar to other screens. You have the add, modify, and delete options, as well as an exit. When you are creating a new invoice, you have the option of selecting a quote to build your invoice off of, or selecting a back order, and we'll take a look at the back order function in particular a little bit more later on. But to start with, let's go ahead and add a new order. First, you'll be prompted for the account, and again, you can enter that in or use the pick list. Remember that in the pick list, after you enter the account, if the customer has a status of hold, you'll see the customer status window appear, reminding you of whatever information you've put in that notes field. But then you can use the pick list. When you're using the pick list, remember that you can use the F8 key to toggle between your search orders, and you can key in, based on the current search order, the value that you're looking for. Let's go ahead and enter this as a cash customer order. The next field that you'll be concerned with is the invoice. The invoice field, the software starts using invoice number 10,000 and is an auto-incrementing field. If you need to use a manual invoice number, all invoice numbers below 10,000 are reserved for manual invoicing, so you can key those numbers in at any time that you want, with the stipulation that you can't reuse a number after you've already put it in. You can enter any additional information for the order, including the contact purchase order number, the order date, the salesperson, which also allows you to use the pick list. The default value in the salesperson field will be the salesperson that's assigned to that account. You also have the discount. If this is an invoice that you're going to award a % discount to, then you can key that discount in here. The tax rate is the default tax rate assigned for that customer based on the sales tax tables. And then you have the option of marking it as an order or a sale. The difference between an order and a sale is that an order indicates that you are performing work or receiving money against a product or a service that has not yet been delivered, and so at that point any monies that you receive are a liability. Items that are marked as an O for order will not post sales, and they will not they will post any income that you receive or any money that you receive for that will be posted to a prepaid orders liability account and to the bank account, and then at a later point in time that invoice will have to be modified and converted to a sale, at which point in time the money that you've received will be moved from the prepaid orders liability account into your sales income account. Next, you have the post date, typically which will be left alone. The invoice will automatically post to the general ledger as soon as you finish the invoice. The only thing to be aware of is that if you're modifying an invoice, it may not be able to post in the same accounting period that it was originally posted in if that accounting period is closed. Once you've finished the header information, you can proceed to enter the products that you want. You can enter in a product ID, or you can use the pick list. And using the pick list, you have the option to use the all products pick list again, and you can toggle the search order through several different options that are available. I'm looking for some stuff. I'm in the product ID, so if I go over to the describe, I can key in stuff or whatever I'm looking for. Or I can use the pick list groups pick list and pick the appropriate relevant products from there. And you'll note that if you haven't defined pricing information for your product, you can see that here, 0 as the default price. So I'll have to enter here the price that I want that product to be sold at. You can also mark products as being on back order if you want to place and track back orders for orders that you're not able to fulfill. Go ahead and put in a product ID here. You'll note that because we used the cash account, which is the default point of sale account on the system, as soon as I keyed in the product ID, the software put in a quantity of 1, assuming a quantity of 1, and put me to the next line. This functionality allows you to use the default point of sale account to scan items in with the barcode scanner without having to go back to the keyboard to put in a quantity after scanning each item. If we do want to put in a quantity, we simply have to arrow up and tab over to the quantity field. I'm going to put 10 on order, and I get the notification that this qualifies for a volume discount pricing. I'll go ahead and load that, and we'll notice that it has loaded the new price here. You can also place the item on back order because there may not be enough. Note that the total order quantity is 10 and the back order quantity is 5, meaning that with this particular order I will be shipping 5 units and leaving 5 units on back order. Once you've finished entering the line items for your order, you can click on the Save button, which will bring up the amount tendered screen. In the amount tendered screen, you can key in any shipping that will be charged, and if the customer has a default ship to address already defined, then you'll see the appropriate zip code here to assist in calculating the shipping amount using UPS or whatever shippers software or tables indicating their rates. If you are using the UPS tables that are available for purchase from Business Software Solutions, then when you enter the zip code and select the shipping method here in the Ship Via field, the software will automatically calculate the shipping amount for you. Next, you can indicate how the invoice is being paid. You can receive check, credit card, cash, or any combination of those. If you enter a check, you'll be required to enter the check number here. If you enter a credit card, a second window will pop up asking you for the credit card information, and if you select cash, then nothing else will happen. You'll just select the cash. You can also, if you note, the F5 key will load the total value of the invoice into the current field to make things a little bit quicker at the point of sale. If the numbers that you enter are 0 or do not add up to the total of the invoice, then the balance, the net due, will be placed on account as a receivable entry. If this pushes this customer past their credit limit, you'll be warned that they're passing their credit limit. Otherwise, it will just go on account. And finally, if the amount that you receive is more than the total of the invoice, then the software will show you the change that is due. You can enter the shipper by keying in a value or using the pick list to select one of the standard shipping methods. And finally, if you've entered a check, you'll be required to enter the check number there. If you need to make further modifications to the order at this point, you can select the backup button, which will take you back to the line items, or if you hit enter again, then it will take you into the final screen where you can print your invoices. Please note that if you're using the hardware cache drawer and you've enabled that in your software, before this screen comes up, the software will open the cache drawer and pause on the amount tendered screen, showing you the change that is due to that customer. Now on this final screen, you have the option to print an inventory pick list, which can then be given to your shipping department so that they can pick the invoice, which is a yes or no option. You can print the invoice, which again is a yes or no option. You have the ability to add a note to this invoice. If you select yes, you'll be able to enter a note or select one of the predefined sets of notes. You can change the ship to address for the invoice, and again, if you're shipping the invoice, then you'd be able to enter a new ship to address or pick one of the default ship to addresses for that account. And finally, you can drop ship an order. If you select yes, then you can request that that product be drop shipped, in which case it isn't processed through your inventory but creates a PO for your vendor instead. Here's the notes, and again at this point we can key in whatever notes we want, or we can select a set of predefined notes using the pick list. At that point, since we've indicated that we want to print a report, if we have not told the software using the miscellaneous definitions to always send out the invoice to the default printer, then we get the printer menu. We can select a printer, or we can view the invoice on the screen. And the software will print any of the 3 types of invoices at that point, whichever is the invoice type that you've specified in your pre-printed forms definitions. And then at that point, you're ready to begin your next order. Now let's look briefly at the point of sale module. The point of sale module is very similar to the standard customer orders module. We've simply removed some of the information to clean it up and make the process a little bit quicker. So again, you have the add, modify, and delete You have the navigation options. You'll notice that you have no options here to pick a back order or to pick a quote. You would just be entering the basic information. So you'd key in the account and then begin with the products. Typically in the streamlined environment, you'd be using a barcode scanner and scanning the products one at a time. When you're finished, again, you can press F3, receive the payment, and print the invoice. You'll notice that the process is essentially the same using the point of sale as it is to enter customer orders. However, it's very much streamlined. The final thing that we need to look at in the customer orders is the ability to pull a back order. If you want to fill a back order, you can select the Pick Back Order option. It will show you a list of the current outstanding back orders, and then you can pull that in, and you'll note that it pulls in the products that were indicated as back ordered with the appropriate price and the quantity that were back ordered. From that point, you can add additional items to the invoice. You can put further items on back order, whatever you'd like to do.